Now entering Nerdist.com.
Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show.
Oh. Oh, we're back.
It's happening.
Oh, I'm Laurie Kilmartin.
I'm Jackie Cation.
Welcome.
Welcome, whatever.
Wait, you must be exhausted.
I am exhausted. I just flew in from Toronto, and boy, are my arms tired.
Oh, no, Jackie.
I am so sorry.
We just lost every listener.
They're gone. They're gone. They're
Good.
like, this
You know
was
what?
the comedy.
That's what I want.
This was the comedy. That was the comedy insight they were
Stop
looking
listening
for.
so we can stop doing it.
It's I did the Just for Laughs 42, and
Yeah.
it was really cool. But WestJet, which as far as I'm concerned,
Is it
now,
an airline?
It's an airline. It's the Spirit Air of Canada.
Okay.
As far as I'm.
Yeah.
They're out of their damn minds. Okay, so my luggage comes to Toronto 5 days ago. And
When did you come to Toronto?
Wednesday. So
Is that 5 days?
Yeah, that's 5 days ago.
Okay.
We it all comes together. They've broken my zipper, which is that happens, right? Sometimes your luggage breaks, and this luggage was 3 months old. I don't know what the fuck they did to it, but it broke, and that happens. I'm not blaming them for that. All my clothes were all over the conveyor belt.
Oh,
it was humiliating. It sucked so hard. And
Wait, what did you have in there?
just, my vibrator and just a pet. I brought my service animal with me. I
didn't
brought
have, like,
Tiberius.
Big underpants in there, did you? That
I
would
did not
be
have granny
humiliating.
underpants in there, no. I had a lot of
those.
t-shirts.
I love them. Oh, all the way up. They feel
They
so
are comfortable.
good.
Pretty comfortable. Pretty
It feels
cozy.
so good to stop caring about that shit and
That
just
is nice.
indulge
And just
indulge
live
your comforts.
Just live your life.
Yes.
It's and then my phone freaked out.
Why? Because it was in Canada?
Because it was in Canada. No, because it's just the screen went dark, so I had to stand in line at the Apple store. I mean, it was like, and then I bought new luggage. Get this, I bought Tumi luggage.
To what?
Tumi.
Okay.
It's very
I don't know them.
expensive.
Okay.
It's very, very expensive. And I was so mad about the whole luggage thing that I'm like, I'm going to buy luggage that has a 5-year warranty and has a chip in it so they can find it.
Oh,
It
I
is-
didn't know that existed.
It was $1 million. And they lost it on the way back from Canada for 20 minutes
Oh my God.
to the point where I was crying. Like a girl. I was
Sometimes-
crying like a fucking
Every
girl.
once in a while, you will act like a girl,
Sometimes
and everyone's excited by it.
It's very exciting. Everyone should get on board. The weirdest thing that happened, because tonight was the debate,
Right.
and I tried to get you to take this gig. You did not take this gig. Why did you not take this gig? You would have been so much better.
I
at
was
it than
watching
me.
the debate with my son and my
Right.
mom, and then I had a show at Cantor's Deli.
Oh, did you?
Yes, Megan.
Oh, that bar next door.
Yes, yeah. What's
Oh, that's
Megan's
nice.
last name? I can't not have her last name.
Right, you should get her last name. But
All right,
so
hold
I did
on.
it. You look it up, and I'll tell
Okay.
them that I did a show with Ben Glebe and Paul
Gailey,
Provenza.
Megan Gailey.
Megan
Okay.
Gailey has got a show on a Sunday night, a Monday night. It's a
Monday night at Cantor's. I guess it used to be Little Esther's show.
Okay.
No, it's
Yeah.
Esther Steinberg.
Esther
Esther Steinberg
Okay.
show, but now it's this
Yeah,
woman's
Megan Gailey.
Megan Gailey show. Well, that's and so I had to go sit through it was delayed. 6 to 8 was the debate.
Yeah.
And then so Ben Glebe texts me and he's like, "Will you watch the debate with me and Paul Provenza?" And I was like,
At the
"Well,
Improv?
At the Improv."
Okay.
And I was like, "Well, I want to hang out with you and Paul Provenza." But I don't want to watch the debate. I watch.
didn't?
No, I like to watch everyone else watching the debate on Twitter, and then I like to read what people said 2 days later with a lot of analysis.
I was glued.
I can't. I'm sure it built a lot of character. It built a lot of character for me to do it.
My mom
I only had one temper tantrum during it.
My mom walked out after 20 minutes. She was upset. I think Trump was just not doing well.
He wasn't rising to the occasion. Ben Glebe said that because he didn't lose his shit, that he thought seemed more presidential.
No.
And I was like, not presidential. He looked like
No,
he
he
could
didn't.
probably manage a 7-Eleven.
He was
but
rambling.
that's about it.
Yeah, he didn't. That's that was like that's what people were saying before the debate. Like if he doesn't,
Loses.
all he has to do is show up and he's presidential, and that's not the case.
That
And
is
she
not the
buried
case.
him.
Yeah.
She buried him with facts.
Yeah, and she kept having facts.
Okay.
And he kept saying things like tremendous.
Hold on. I
anyway.
got to read this email.
Oh, yeah. And then you got an email about
is
comedy
Okay.
from a lady.
I won't say her name,
Oh, that's for the best.
but I'm reading the email because I took the time to respond and she never said, hey, thanks.
She didn't respond at all?
Yeah. I'm just trying to think. Have I done that recently? There's probably people I owe a hey, thanks to. Okay. So it's, and I don't know who this person is. Never
She
met
just
her.
emailed you because...
Out of the blue. Hi, Lori. I'm writing to you because I am looking for a stand-up comedy private class for my son,
Wow.
a USC student.
Okay, so this is a 20-year-old kid.
Right off the bat, I'm out.
Right, this is not...
USC and first of all,
What's
not
wrong with
yourself.
USC? What do-
oh,
I
I
don't know
fucking
what-
went to UCLA. That's
did
what's
you?
wrong with USC.
Oh, that's what's wrong with it.
So I
All
don't want
right.
to hear from some
Head to head.
Trojan mother that she
Oh.
wants to teach her little son
That's
to do what I do.
I think
you
you're
can't do what I do, little boy. All right, hold on. $125 an hour.
Sport talk.
Paying
Yes.
cash after each
$125.
after each session.
Okay.
2 hours minimum. Please let me know if you're available. We live in Beverly Hills, next to the Beverly Hills Hotel on Sunset. Thank
Ew.
you. First of all,
Yeah.
you don't tell me what my rate is, and you don't tell me the minimum hours I'm spending with your spoiled little brat of a son.
Amen, sister. That is,
And-
by the way, the best response. You don't tell me what my rate is.
Guess what? You come to me. You think I'm driving to your shitty mansion next to the Beverly Hills Hotel? I actually would like to see it, but just once. Just once.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
So then I
wish they lived at the Beverly Hills Hotel. How great would that be if they had lived like the life of a Monopoly person?
And then I said...
Yeah, you responded. You were pretty
Yes.
sane, I thought.
I said, hi, name. Thanks for your email. Honestly, I can't teach stand-up comedy. No one can. The best way to learn is to bomb repeatedly until you figure out how to get laughs. There's no shortcut. If there was, believe me, I would have taken it a long time ago.
That was very polite of you. I would have taken it. Is very, very polite of you because I don't think you would have taken it. I genuinely do not believe
I
that
know
you
we're
would
still
have.
getting to know each other, but honestly, Jackie,
You
really,
would. You would have
you don't
taken
think
it.
I would have taken it?
No, I don't actually. I think you would have. I think. No, I think
Who? What? This is just a.
you wouldn't have taken a class. First of all, when we started, classes were reviled.
I took two classes.
You took.
Can I
stand-up
tell
classes?
you? I took first. I took a great class from this guy named John Cantu, who may he rest in peace. Was
Thank God he's dead.
he?
What?
What's wrong with you?
I don't, because I'm an animal. Anyway,
No, he ran the Holy City Zoo, and he was there when comedy first started in San Francisco in that way, stand up there. And he was there when Robin Williams was hanging out at the zoo just before he became famous at all. He's just another guy doing
Right.
comedy. And Cantu he had this crazy story. He was a former porn actor, and he was Native American and had like 16 brothers and sisters. Had this insane
Weird.
life.
That is a crazy
and
story.
was a really good comedy teacher. Like, he knew comedy. He did not sexually harass me or ever make me feel uncomfortable. I was shocked when I heard he was a former porn star. I
you know
never
what?
would have guessed
I think it bleeds off all that energy once you're once you're a porn
You're,
star.
"Oh, I don't wanna
You're like, I don't need. I'm good. I had
But
enough.
then I took classes from somebody else. I think I've said this. Who's highly litigious.
So I think you, in passing, mentioned that you would never say this person's name.
Yes, but that guy did sexually harass me,
And was not
I
a good
stopped taking
comic?
classes, but I paid in advance for more classes than So, and
Sure.
then I spent at least 2 years unlearning the dumb habits he taught me.
The second guy or the
The
either
second
one of
guy,
them?
the second guy, the first guy, John Cantu, was great, and he was more just about joke writing and the emotional content and stuff like that.
Really?
Yes.
You know, when I first started in Wisconsin and then Minneapolis, it was reviled.
Yeah.
The idea that anyone could teach anyone stand-up comedy
Yeah.
was the worst idea in the world. They're like, would you just go to open mic and sit around like the rest of us?
Yeah.
And the people who taught it were predators in the world, and people thought that they were the worst.
Yeah.
But I remember in Minneapolis, there was a woman who taught stand-up comedy, and I think I've told you the story. It might be in those first 5 episodes that we're never going to air.
Okay, good.
But it was something about this woman who, the whole first class was, she would show, each person would just go on stage, take the mic out of the mic stand, move the mic stand, and then say hello and say their name into
Yeah.
the mic stand, and then grab the mic stand, put the mic back in, and then get off stage. That was the first. She was so bad at stand-up comedy, the woman who taught this class, that I don't think she heard anybody, because everybody was like, well, if she can do it, I think I can do it. And it was a lot of just sort of the physicality of
Yeah.
getting on stage and all this stuff. And some people can't get up if they don't take a class sometimes.
Well, and I think there's also people that are working people, and they're like, I'm not going to go to an open mic and sit around. Like, I understand that thing of if I want to learn something, I want to take a class.
Okay.
I don't want to go to open mic piano. I want to take a fucking piano class, But I'm telling you,
want
there's
there to
no
be
other way to get good at comedy. There really isn't.
right. Then to
You know?
do it. Then to do it.
Yeah, and have that bombing experience. However, the good thing is
Yep.
comedy is so popular that people want to hire us for
Right.
currently not enough money. But in 5 years, it'll be
I know
it'll
at least 3 people.
be $300 an hour.
Right. Then
4 hour
You would
minimum.
have done it. It's. I have to tell you that that I know any number of comics
Yeah.
who would have loved that gig.
Yeah.
Who, when you sent me that email, I was like, oh, I do you want me to pass that? And then you had said, oh, I'm not. This isn't
When
okay.
I blew it for all
And then-
comics.
Right. I was like, I know
Sorry,
at least
comics.
three people who
What
want to
an
make
asshole. I'm
$125 an hour
I'm
teaching.
sorry.
I did it one time. 75. Somebody gave me $75 or something to sit with them and listen to their 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And then she didn't take my advice at all. Which and my only
At
advice
least she
was,
paid you.
She did pay me.
It's worse when someone asks you to watch and then you give a note and they just don't take it at all or don't agree or
And she, of course she didn't have to take. I mean, that's my whole. I taught that seminar in Toronto too. I taught that how to work shitty.
Yeah.
One
How to use
nighters.
Sentences.
How to use sentences and book shitty one nighters. And,
Yeah.
and it was kind of fascinating. It was there's no right way to do this.
No.
There is a way, and I told the Ute that I told them the way that I did it.
Yeah.
And these are the things, the very basic rules of going on the road and this type of thing. And it was 3 hours, which
Yeah.
seemed long. And I was like 2 hours in, just looking at my watch, going, "Questions? Any questions?" And they did. They had good questions. Turns out, festivals in Canada
Yeah.
are actually a decent credit. Because they have a lot less television opportunities.
Oh, yeah,
They
yeah.
don't have as much deep cable.
Yeah.
And like here, it's really hard to get headline work if you don't have any television.
Yeah, right.
And so in Canada, there was a couple of people who were in the Yuck Yucks chain of command who were at this thing, and then a bunch of people who were running their own
Yeah.
rooms and stuff like that. So it's kind of fascinating. And then I got to go out with. There were 13 women comics. It was almost all women.
Mm-hmm.
There were 2-3 guys. There were 2 or 3 guys. One guy came, but the other 3 guys didn't come to lunch. And I was like, I'm buying lunch. You guys all just gave me $20.
Cool.
So, and we had the greatest lunch. It was
great.
comedy lunch.
Yeah.
And it was really fun.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Our poor dear friend Melissa Villasenor.
Yeah, Villasenor,
who was our
comic
former
of the
comic
Lakes
of the week
last week,
2 weeks
or
ago.
2 weeks ago. Now.
Yeah, Megan Beth Kester.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, Keister.
Keister. I thought it was
Keister?
Keister. Yeah.
All right, sorry.
Yeah. So Melissa Villasenor
Yes,
told a bad joke. Turns out one time.
couple. You know what? First of all, Twitter is its own art form. Okay,
Right.
And sometimes, especially early on, you're playing around with it. You might not be good at it.
Turns out, if you get a chance to warn me before I get any sort of fame, for me to scrub my Twitter account, that'd be great.
Yeah, and just the fact that somebody would sit there and decide
And
to
go
start
through
go
thousands.
through is really gross.
I looked at that woman's feed, the woman who found
Yeah.
the bad tweets.
Yeah.
So a woman found bad tweets, and then a different woman who HuffPo does not pay enough, and so had to create clickbait. Did an
Sure.
article, said new SNL cast member deletes racist tweets, and you're like, do you want her to keep them? And if I have shitty jokes on Twitter, please tell me what they are so I can delete them.
So many turds on Twitter.
Just horrible.
So many. I mean, that's...
I had a bot. I bought a bot.
What do you mean?
A bot that scrubbed all of my tweets for I had like probably 50,000 tweets.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm Chatty Magoo, and I felt embarrassed at how chatty I was on Twitter. So I bought a bot for like $20 or $100 2 years ago that deleted all of them.
What if they took some gold though?
That gold, I wasn't ever going to find it again. That gold's gone.
Do you ever download Twitter archives so you can sift through it?
I think I did download the CRV on that one, and
Yeah.
I've never looked at it. So who cares?
That's another notebook.
It's another
series
taping
of
my
recordings.
set.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, but this thing was great because it would delete everything above 2,000 tweets. But clearly, Twitter discovered the algorithm.
That must have been what she did because that woman said, I saw her deleting 2,000 tweets, and I was like, she's going by hand deleting tweets. It must be she just had a bot to take away.
I had the bot,
the early
but
ones.
Twitter figured out that bot was bad, and they stopped it, and now I'm back up to like 19,000. I mean, Chatty Magoo is back, and
who
I've
cares?
fucking
No one looks at those.
no one cares. Well, it turned out that lady looks at them, and then the HuffPo lady wrote an article, and then there was recrimination.
Well, and it's also telling you how to feel. She's, disappointingly wrote. It's like, don't tell me to be disappointed, and don't tell me how to feel. And then they roped in Angela Johnson in this article, saying, "Well, she has a stereotypical character that's an Asian."
Melissa
Asian
Villasenor,
alien.
by the way, Mexican. Angela Johnson, Korean.
Oh, no, I think she's Mexican and
Angela Johnson?
Native American.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know. The Johnson is obviously that might be a married.
There's
name.
a cocktail. There's a cocktail that
But here's my point. The other and then I
listen to that jackass comment. Go ahead.
I read there's some other article completely different from this, but kind of along the same lines, where a novelist named Lionel Shriver. She's a female novelist with the name Lionel. That's so British. I can't even handle
Feels
it.
super British.
But she wrote about something. I'm not getting it correctly, but some students were offended that perhaps she or another white writer had written in the voice of
A black character?
And called it cultural appropriation. And she was just saying, so wait, if I'm a white woman, I can only write from a white woman's point of view, and
my God.
that's fiction. I mean, fiction is like, hey, I'm going to pretend to be this and write it.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy. And does that go into comedy where Angela Johnson can only play or do Mexican native characters, and Melissa Villasenor can't do anyone that's not Hispanic? I mean, she's an impressionist,
Right.
You know?
Right. And when that kind of trolling happens, you're like, I've talked to a bunch of different people about this, right?
Yeah.
And so somebody called me up and they were like, it's just depressing. I don't know what to do about it.
It's with same thing with Kurt Metzger. I mean, it's a different situation, but it's like this hive just goes, a new one. Let's tear him to pieces.
Right. And they lose their shit. And so what I recommended was to write out, essentially, if you were being trolled, what I do is when anybody, because it doesn't happen to me that often, because I'm not doing anything, or I don't know why, but, I ignore them, that's why. But I just block them, fuck them. And but I write out what I'm scared about and what I'm mad about.
Yeah.
And I write like an angry letter. And then I read it out loud.
Mm-hmm.
I make Bamford listen to this bullshit. And, I'll read it to a friend and it kind of, then we all laugh. We laugh at what I'm afraid of. We laugh at why I'm mad and we commiserate.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I throw it away. But I don't publish the damn thing, obviously.
All right. So here's another thing that bothers me about this, because I also see the other side of like,
the appropriation thing?
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it used to drive me nuts that SNL would have so few females and then they'd have the guy comics dressing as women. I'd be like, motherfucker, bring some women in this thing.
Yeah.
So I can kind of see that too. I don't know. It's just an odd thing to have to worry about if you do characters. I don't really do characters.
Well, what do you think
know?
about this? The article you sent me about the Wire guy.
Oh my God, that was nuts. So David Simon, who wrote The Wire and is probably, maybe a genius or something.
Right. It's supposedly the best television
great.
that was ever made.
Yes.
The Wire.
So he tweeted about Sean Hannity, because Sean Hannity was
Call Sean Hannity. You got just why won't people talk to Sean Hannity?
well, he was Sean Hannity was hosting or presenting himself as a host for some sort of African American cultural. It was just this thing like Sean Hannity. So he
Right.
just sort of wrote a tweet to Sean Hannity using the N-word,
oh, right.
but kind of making fun of Sean Hannity,
Right.
Which it was immediately picked up and
As-
misunderstood.
Right. You're not writing a script. You're writing a tweet. So the character, it's really hard to wear a hat, right? It's really hard to know that you're doing a character in a tweet.
Well, it's weird how people just come in and go and don't know the background of the person and go, oh, this is racist. And yet, but on the other hand, if you're say you're she has nothing to do with this, but you're Leslie Jones, and that's the word you see in your feed,
Right.
You see it, you do a tweet, you see 20 versions of that word
Yep.
in response, and then you just go on your timeline and you see it again. You're like, fuck, can I just get away from it? Like,
Right.
I get where somebody would be like, dude, please stop it,
I would love everyone to sort of keep it in their pants, quite honestly, just because it has to, some jokes have to be said out loud. Some jokes are not for Twitter.
Right.
They just
exactly.
aren't.
They really
it's-
aren't.
Whenever you do a character,
Your voice gives it context.
Yep.
Who you are, your personality, and the jokes
Yeah.
you've said in front of it give it
Yes.
more context and weight, so people feel like they know you.
right? They know that you're not a giant jackass,
Yeah.
and then it will help.
Yes.
So if you want to be all edgy, fucking do it out loud.
Or that's just going to happen every once in a while. Like he seemed to not. He didn't go to apology mode. He's like, "Fuck you." He explained why it was satire. I mean, I appreciated him.
Did
just
you see
going,
what Guy Branum posted though?
What?
In The Nation? They posted the woman who found the tweet
of
Melissa's.
Okay.
Yeah. 3 years ago,
Yeah.
tweeted something about she was mad. I don't know what her ancestry is, this woman who found the tweet.
Yeah.
But she was mad about black guys who had white girlfriends. And so she made some horrible comment about this black guy and then about his white girlfriend.
Right.
And then the internet blew up.
Yeah.
And then she apologized. But then she spent 19 tweets explaining why she was right. So the worst apology ever. Well, people don't know how to fucking apologize either.
So that an insane
Stop
person like that can I mean, it's kind of exciting. You get SNL. It's a big fucking deal.
Right.
And you already have the mantle of first Latina, which is fucking crazy in 2016.
No pressure. No
but
pressure.
yeah, and then it just sort of that's a scary good pressure, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is just like a nasty thing
That-
to take
That I
away
guess is
from
a
that.
parallel. It's just a parallel. So,
It's shitty.
but the Nation posted the thing, the woman who found Melissa's tweet.
Yeah.
And the 19 tweets of this idiot woman who
Oh my God.
didn't know how to apologize.
Yeah.
You know what? If you said something horrible, either don't apologize at all,
Yeah.
like Donald Trump, or apologize and wrap it up.
Yeah, he shouldn't be a hero to most of our listeners.
No. Oh, that's true. He's done nothing good. The man is a disaster.
Well, David Simon, he just was like, "Sorry, you didn't get me."
Right,
He didn't
exactly.
fucking care.
Exactly. Just
Yeah.
kind of, I take it you didn't get that joke.
Yeah.
So, yeah, whatever.
Okay. Let's see. I have a joke where I have to say this month's, and it's really
You say the words this month.
this month's, and it's causing me a lot of stress. This week's doesn't work exactly, and it's
Okay.
got to be this month's, but it's honestly
You're talking about the month. That's the word you're saying, right?
months, but it's
But a
month
plural-
apostrophe s. This month's. Can you say it fast?
Not
Say
with
it.
that accent.
What do you mean
This-
accent?
You have an accent.
I don't.
In the word month.
This month's. How's that an
this
accent?
Months. You're right.
This
it is
month's
hard.
is hard,
this
right?
months. Why?
So
How about just a
I
month
tell
ago?
a joke
Why can't
and
you
then
just say
no
in the
because
last month?
No,
about
because
that?
it's parallel. It's parallel phrasing.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just I have to really like every time I tell that joke, I have to slow down because I can't fuck it up
right.
because
Right.
it's a kind of a punchline and then it kind of sets up something else. But
oh, you know,
I'm trying to figure like, man, I can't have one drink before a show when I got that joke in my set.
what about changing? Just say in the last week, in the last month.
No,
No,
No.
it doesn't go.
no,
It doesn't go. You got to say this month.
yeah, this month's.
Wow, that I don't know that is it worth it? Has it been worth it? Has it been working?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well then, it's a cross you got to bear.
I got to get it on vinyl and then get it out of my act.
Exactly. It's I did a joke that didn't have a punchline. Last night I got to do like 3 1-hour sets up in Toronto, which was great.
Oh, wow.
And one of them last night I opened with just something I had either tweeted or put it on Facebook or something.
Yeah.
Because I was in Canada and I said, you guys, and there's just, the election is making me anxious.
Me too.
So it's-
God, me too.
So I was talking to the crowd about the election, and I said, I never imagined, and this is just the setup, is I never imagined that the United States would be the bad guy in World War III, right? That's
Yeah.
the setup. And to crickets, it usually, like I've said it out loud a couple of times on
Yeah.
stage in the States, and it gets kind of a half titter. It needs a punchline. But Canada, dead silence. And I go, oh, did you guys know that? And they're like, yeah, we saw that coming. You guys are going to be the bad guys in World War III. And I was like, for
They're
decades,
way ahead of us.
For decades you've seen it. And they're like, yeah, we knew it was happening. You guys are crazy. You're crazy motherfuckers. And so it was one of the weirdest experiences. It was one of those things where you think you're the hero of the story because you're, Kim whatever.
Jong-un.
Jong-un, yeah.
Kim Jong-un.
Yeah. He thinks he's doing the right thing. He thinks he's the hero of the story. He's like, we're going to become a world power by getting nukes, and then people will trade with us.
I don't know that. I think he's really insane. I don't think he's trying to trade. People would love to trade with him.
Yeah?
I mean, yeah, he's just.
But I
he's
think
insane.
he wants the respect of the nukes, and he thinks
Sure,
that will
yes,
help.
yeah.
He
Yeah.
thinks that will help his country. Because
I think it will help him. I think he's all about him.
you think,
Yeah,
I don't know.
think he's trying to help it. He's starving his people.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, they're starving. And
which is
it's-
why when they bleed over into South Korea, it's bad because a lot of people are dying. So he needs everybody to bring in the rice
For Soylent? Oh,
for Soylent
okay.
Green. Yes.
I did so last Friday, the production company that's putting together
Oh yeah,
the special came out and they
CISO.
shot
your mom.
the wraparound. Yeah, so they came they shot me and my sister flew down and my mom kind of talking about all that. And then they shot a couple of like famous comedians talking. And I'm worried like, maybe the stand up isn't as good as the wraparounds.
It's just because the wraparound's new.
I guess.
It's just 'cause
I'm
it's-
like,
the CISO special is
are we
going to be
just setting
amazing.
people up to be disappointed in me. Oh my God.
Well, that's our entire lives. What? Come on. And
So yeah, it's kind of like, it's feeling real now, and you
Yeah.
know, and it's nice when other people jump in to help. It's,
when there's a
it's-
production company,
Yes.
saying, well, what if we shoot this? What
we'll
if we
take
shoot
care
that?
of, yeah, and I don't know. Sometimes I look at some comedians and they have a manager and they have this and they have this and they have a whole team behind them trying to help them move
want a
forward and
team.
move stuff and it seems like very busy, but it's also if they're doing a good job, they really do. Like you and I think we just get used to doing everything
all the work,
ourselves.
yeah.
Like, all right, I'll do that. And it gets exhausting, and it must be
Right.
nice to have a team that's sort of like.
I don't know that I'd want a team the whole time though, because I would like to delegate the things that I want to delegate,
Yeah.
and keep control of the things that I want to keep control of.
Right.
I don't know what defines that, but I know that I don't mind talking to bookers.
Yeah.
I don't mind booking my own road work. I kind of like it.
Yeah.
But if they won't talk to me, I would love to have someone in.
Yeah.
I would like to have a PA guy in my hip pocket, as opposed to
Yeah.
me being in the hip pocket of a PA guy.
Right.
If that makes sense,
Yes,
right?
yes, for sure. But
And-
it must be nice to be Louie and have like that support staff, that structure. You go, I want to do this. I want to make this web thing.
Right.
Horace
Oh,
and
yeah.
Pete, and go and just kind of like be able to put it all together.
Is
because
that-
you have people going, yeah, that
'cause
sounds
you have
great. Let me help
employees?
you. You have Well, I guess anyone that's taking a percentage of your income is an employee.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That was somebody reminded me of that when they were like, "Hey, you want an agent? You want a manager? Remember, they work for you." And I was like, "Really? It seems like
I know.
they're doing me a favor." And they're like, "You're they have to get you work so that they can get a percentage, and you are in this together." So and I've never been able to fully internalize that
Yeah.
and make that work for me. That would be
Me neither.
That'd be great.
I always feel like.
Do all the work myself.
Yeah, and I was like, well, if I was unmanaged, then that industry must have decided I wasn't talented. They had a meeting, and
Right.
I always think
there's
that.
there's always some story of why someone doesn't like me.
Yeah.
Which is the craziest fucking story. The only gig I've ever been fired from was I was the fan in the stands for the St. Paul Saints in Minneapolis. It's a baseball team, like a
okay.
professional baseball team. It wasn't like A-ball. It was a different league. It wasn't like the minors or anything. And it's owned by Bill Murray. Bill Murray owns the St. Paul Saints. And the fan in the stands is for the local TV station. And you go around and you talk to people in the stands and you try to get them to do wacky things, or you do wacky things with them. And I genuinely, the loneliest I was in my life.
Yeah.
I was very drunk, but I was also no boyfriend, no men, no anything. Right. And so I was like, oh, they think I'm gay. That's what it is, which is the weirdest story to invent about something, especially when months later they send you a tape and you look at your segments and you're like, oh, I made everything political. Nobody wants the East German judge getting involved in their St. Paul Saints interstitials. And so, I mean, there was no reason for them not, but there's always like some reason. Oh, they don't like me because I'm fat. They don't like me because I'm old. I don't like me because.
I decided, I always have some new reason. I invent them too. I decided when I was in New York in the early 2000s, I'm like, I can't, I'm not getting any traction. This is before I started working on Tough Crowd,
Right.
which really kind of helped me get something.
Yeah.
It's topped out. But I was like, oh, I have a really gummy smile.
Oh,
When I smile, my gums show. And I'm like, I have to solve this problem. And so I got very obsessed with fixing my smile.
Right.
And I went to this dentist, and he said, what they do is.
what do they do? Is there.
Well, they cut your teeth. They cut the gum. Like they cut a
It's like a
slice
plastic-
out of your gum and move your teeth up, your whatever.
Yeah.
And he goes, but you know what you could do is just not smile so wide.
Wow, he lost about 30
I
grand.
know.
It's
I was like, oh, so I just sort of tried to, like when I was on official pictures,
Yeah.
when you're posing,
Yeah.
not to just bear it all like a fucking horse crossing a finish line.
which is all in your head, right? That you're like, oh, my smile's weird.
I don't know if the industry decided that, but
No,
there's- but you're-
I'm going to go out
but-
on a limb and tell you they didn't.
But when you're performing and you're doing well, and you're just like, why am I not being picked
Why does
for
nobody
things?
care? Yeah.
Why does this person have a manager who's less experienced and I think less funny? And why don't I? And then you
Right.
just start going, oh, it must be this, and if it's not this, then it's that. And I was always like, oh, I'm too fat, I'm too big, I'm too, whatever the
something.
fucking.
There's always
what it
something.
was.
Yeah, there's nothing. The committee meeting does not help. Does not help the work, and it doesn't change anything.
Right.
You're like, oh, I'm gonna go and I'm not gonna eat and I'm gonna work out 3 hours a day, and you're like, well, if you want to be very fit, that might be fun for you, but I don't want to do that. So, yeah. I don't know. I have a crooked tooth. Sometimes I think about
I
fixing
like your
it.
crooked tooth.
So does Andy. And I'm like, well, I guess I'll keep my fucking crooked tooth. I
Yeah,
guess.
man, gotta keep that.
Whatever.
I got
It's,
this. it's weird. Like in 2005, because every once in a while I'm still mad I never did Letterman. You know that.
Yeah, I do know that because it comes up every 3 or 4 episodes, and we've only had 35 episodes.
I don't think it comes up that frequently, Jackie.
Somebody email me. Okay.
I think it every episode.
Oh, it comes up in your brain. Yeah. So, I think about all kinds, like the stuff that I don't get. I hate that thought though.
But
Try to let it
like,
go.
okay, so I'm going through. I was putting some stuff away in my garage, and I found this thing where I won the Time Out Female Comic of the year.
Did you get a Johnny Walker jacket? What'd you get for that?
No.
Okay.
No, it's just a very important award.
It was a very important award. Was it a lamp with a leg?
The male was Patrice O'Neill.
Okay.
And it was at 05, and we got to do a
He's been
set at
canonized.
Town
Yeah.
Hall, and and nothing happened from it.
Nope.
And I was like, really? Like that couldn't. But there's no one there to care. I don't know. It's just this thing that happened, and then nothing parlayed into anything. I just don't. You know how some people get stuff, and then boom, boom, boom. Now they're on the next step, and the next step, and the next step, and
it
it's
looks
like
like-
I
know. I got that half-hour special in 2003.
Right.
And I thought it was going to change my life. I thought I was going to headline.
Right.
And it did eventually get some traction. It took 3 years for anyone to give a shit. It
Yeah.
had to have played like 100 times on Comedy Central for them people to go, oh, I did see that. But my favorite story, and it isn't my story, I'm going to tell it anyway, because Scott told me, is Maria's husband, Scott. She was in People magazine.
Yeah.
Like 2 months ago.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
They
there
did
was-
an article on
Yeah.
her?
They did
Oh,
a big
neat.
article on her. And him and her. And she said that they were sitting around the kitchen, and he was doing dishes, and he said, just think about how our lives have changed since we were in People magazine. And he's just doing dishes, and you're like, not at all. Not at all. No, it's they're still taking care of the dogs. So
Yeah, but when you do have accomplishments that are milestones, it does change how you feel. They're not meaningless.
do you get that thing? No, they are not meaningless. But do you get that thing where you do something big? Like when I did Conan,
Yeah.
like right after, I was sad. I was
Yes,
like, now
yes.
what?
Yeah,
Now what?
yeah,
You
yeah.
do you're like, oh, I did this great show, and
Yeah.
now,
That's common.
what's
I think.
next? I think, what's
Yeah.
next? And so, I had a heckler in Toronto. Mm-hmm. So I did.
Male or female?
It was a dude,
Mm-hmm.
and there were 2. Okay, it was at a Maria Bamford show, which hasn't happened in a half a year. Whoa. It was. What was it? Okay. So I did 2 where I opened for her. She did an hour, and then I opened for her, and then I got to do an hour. But the 2 that we did, Thursday night, Friday night. Thursday night was the greatest. She got a standing ovation.
Wow.
It was amazing. And Friday night, just people coming to see comedy somehow wandered into a Maria Bamford show.
Oh, my God.
Which is not. She does that joke about how, guys, this may not be for you. Your friends might have brought you here by accident, and don't feel obligated to stay. So I go up, and I was doing this. I was doing the set, and I mentioned that I was from Wisconsin, as I often do, and some dude. It's happened 100 times. Yells out, "The Packers suck."
Oh.
I was wearing my Star Wars AT-ATs in Love t-shirt, and I can't imagine why he would imagine I would care about sport. And I lost my shit. I got super angry, and I did an entirely different set. First of all, I eviscerated him with a heckler line that was a little overreactive to how he had yelled. And
I'm always on the side of the comedian. Comedian v. heckler, I'm always on the side of the comedian.
I was so
you
mad.
motherfuckers don't know how much you can trip up someone's act by saying
just
your stupid
yelling,
little shitty thing.
Just yelling out something in the beginning. It didn't make any sense. It was
Yeah.
a non sequitur. He was in his head about
if
a
you
football
come down
team.
too hard, I'm on your side.
And nobody cared. I
Yeah.
mean, the audience was slightly confused just because I was clearly furious.
Yeah.
And then but I felt bad about the whole set because I was like, well, that was not fun. That was annoying. And then I had to
And
go.
it was 1 of 4.
Well, it was 1 of 5.
Okay.
And then I did Put Your Hands Together, which could not. That went weird too, so it's not going to be on their pod.
I'm yawning violently. I'm sorry. I'm like
You
turning
are.
my
You're
head
done.
away and my whole body's shaking.
You You just spent a lot of time with your son and your mom watching a debate for an hour and a half.
You know what? The whole week, it's weird. Like, so Friday, there's a lot of people in my house, and they're doing a great job, and they're awesome. I love them. But I was thinking, you know how some people are tone deaf. I think Did you say humor deaf?
No.
Someone did.
What?
Dang it. Oh,
That's
my
a deaf
sister.
joke.
No, Cheryl did. My friend
Oh, okay.
Cheryl did. She was
Okay.
talking about my tweets. Like,
Not
some people
Cheryl. Okay, I don't know.
you don't know. You haven't met her?
No.
Oh, all right. That's
yeah.
going to happen.
It'll
So
happen.
she was saying that some people are humor deaf.
Oh, okay.
Which I think is perfect. Like,
That
some
is.
people just don't get jokes.
That's
and then,
so true.
And I was thinking, I think I'm human sensitive. Like, if I'm around too many humans, I just need to curl up in a ball, even
Oh,
if
yeah.
they're good people.
Yeah.
And so over the week, and then my sister and it was just a full house,
Mm-hmm.
and then my sister came to 2 shows on Saturday.
Oh, wow.
And one of them was Meltdown.
Nice.
Was Set List.
Oh, you did a set list?
Yeah.
How was it? Did you get anything out of it?
Nothing I can use.
No?
But I was, hey, I didn't cheat.
No.
I didn't use any
don't-
jokes.
People who cheat at set list should be killed, quite honestly. Fuck those people. Set list, the purpose of set list is to come up with new
To
material.
see what you got.
Yeah.
I don't even
I
think it's to come
always-
up with new material. I think
always
it's
record.
to see what your brain is capable of.
And I say record set list.
I did cheat a little and go into the crowd.
Oh,
I do consider that cheating.
Yeah, that
But
is a little cheating.
It is.
Because you don't do crowd work
owning up to-
otherwise.
Yes, I do.
Do you go to the crowd?
Not in an 8-minute set, but in
Right.
a long set, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. You don't realize I have never seen your long set.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I go
I'd love
the
to see
crowd.
your long set. Are you headlining anywhere in town? Do you have a do you have a flaps?
Not in LA.
You don't have-
Wait, I'm in the Yoo-Hoo.
You got a closing
8th
set
and 9th, I think,
of
or excuse
October
me,
or
7th
something?
and 8th. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's headlining, but it might be shorter than.
Yeah, like 20 or 30 or something.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I'll let you know. But
Please-
I'm glad we're
please
breaking
do.
this down.
It's-
But what were we talking about?
Set list.
Oh no! Oh yeah. So I brought her there, and then I was doing Stephen Glickman has like a late night show at the Improv.
Oh, wow.
Like
Oh, that
once a
11
month.
o'clock thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it was at 10 o'clock. But
Okay.
and when you bring someone with, you're sort of like worried about them, and
Yeah, you got to
like,
keep an eye on them.
Yeah, and she's fine. She doesn't need. It's just like whatever. And so I couldn't like. I almost like need to coil into my dark place so I can perform, and I couldn't completely like a little snake. I need to just
Right.
power down into a little coil so I can strike.
Wow, you're missing some great physical work, folks. Some great physical.
I'm doing a
space work.
character. I'm culturally appropriating a snake. Oh my God!
Please.
How dare I?
So how
come
are
at
the
me?
sets?
Come at me, animal activists! Come at me! But so I remember just feeling when I think you ever like you're not yourself, but maybe being a comic for 30 years, you kick it in and you can
Yeah.
kind of do an impression of yourself.
Exactly.
That's what I think
So true. That is an impression. Yes.
Yes. That's what I always think. Like when I'm like I don't have it, I'm like just pretend to be that thing that you could do.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm going to do an impression of Laurie Kilmartin right now.
Yes. Yes.
So I did that and it was fine, but I remember just being like tired and I didn't get my solitude that I needed that weekend at all.
No kidding.
And then last night, Sunday night, Harriet Rose had me on a set at the West Side.
Yeah.
And I was, whenever you have a set like where you just feel like I don't have it, then you're like, it's gone. And
Oh, it's over.
And then it was just like a tiny little audience, but they were so good. And when it's a small room and they're laughing a lot and they give you, it's weird. Like you can tell it, you're working on a new joke. You tell a joke, it works, and the laugh is 2 or 3 seconds long, and it just gives
Yeah.
you just enough time because you're still sitting in that joke to think of a couple extra tags or
Yep.
one extra direction to go in it.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, now we might have a bit on our hands and not just a joke.
Yep.
And it made me just think like how hard it is for newer comics when they're just at open mics and they're not going to have a crowd like that. It's all the other comics
There's
that
no
are going
role.
to go on.
There's no role
There's
to-
no role, and it's really hard to crack open a joke and turn
Yeah.
it into something bigger when you can't get the audience to just because you need to be thinking of this stuff on stage too. It's not
Yeah.
just off stage. You are when you're on stage is when it's the perfect time to think of new stuff
Right,
new
to flesh
additions
out.
to a joke.
Yeah, to flesh out a
Yeah.
joke, and the exact right word, and the
Yes.
exact, like when you're living in the role,
Yeah.
it's like whatever that means.
Yes,
and,
I know what you
but,
mean.
Yeah,
but you're like you're swimming in a little pool that's this joke, and it's
got you.
all the little
It's an-
potential offshoots of this joke. And
And
when
you're
the
safe
audience
there.
is laughing, they keep you in that pool a little bit longer. When they go haha, and then they stop, you immediately have to jump to the next joke,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't get to rest and just swim around in it and see if there's anything else there.
Yeah.
And so anyway, they happen to have like a little crowd like that, and I felt like a couple of jokes that where I'm like, oh, this one's stalled, I jump started and I got a little bit more out of them, and I was kind of
I found
happy.
the perfect line in my moccasin joke, which I've been trying to figure out because it's got to lead into this.
Is it this month's moccasin?
It's this month's moccasin. Oh my God, last month's. Yeah, this month's. What the hell? I don't know what you can do with that. But I changed a word from to you, for you. Is literally, it came
Wait,
down to
it
me
was to
changing-
you
it
and
was
you
to
changed
you.
it to for you?
I changed it to for you.
Yeah.
And it changes the joke. Everyone is like, yes, because before they were sad. It didn't always make people sad, but it was something was happening to me when now it is happening about me. And so it almost changed the tense of the joke.
Isn't it fascinating?
It is fascinating. And that's why I think people listen to this show. Do you want to do Comic of the Week?
Yeah. Wait,
Yeah.
how much time have we done?
45.
Oh,
That's amazing.
I thought we were
didn't-
like at 55.
Well, but we usually do Comic of the Week at 30. You're so greedy because it's usually at 20 when you're like, how is it still happening? Why is Kyle still
Kyle's
recording?
like, you guys want to do 2 tonight? Are you out of your mind?
Oh my God, I'm so tired. It was
Yes.
Toronto. I love Toronto, by the way. That's only the second or third time I've been to Toronto, and I was there in February.
Yeah.
Which was dumb, and but was amazing.
Yeah.
A lot of great comics had me open, and then this thing, which was it was so beautiful. There
Yeah.
were so many. I went to a Nicaraguan place called Managua, and then
That's the capital of Nicaragua.
exactly. I think it was called It was called like Beautiful Managua.
My dad lived in Managua for a
Really?
couple years. Yeah. He was this had an unfortunate effect on my childhood, but
Because he bailed? Was he thinking about some stuff? What happened?
no, he was working. He was working in Nicaragua. He got laid off from his job at Bechtel in San Francisco. So he got a job. He was an engineer and he
Okay.
built dams. And so a lot of the stuff he did was like in countries that didn't have.
Did he invent the Bechdel test?
No, no, that's Bechdel. And so we were going to join him in Nicaragua
Yeah.
in
old were you?
78, I think, 78 or 79.
Okay.
And then they had
That would have been awesome.
well, they had a civil war, so no. The
Right.
Sandinistas started.
Yeah.
There's a civil war between Sandinistas and Somoza's
I wanted to go
forces.
fight for the Sandinistas, actually, when I
Really?
was 14. Yeah. I had this weird plan that
What
I
if
was,
we would have met down there? I was a little swimmer in Managua, and you were a gorilla in
Sure.
the jungle of
camo
Nicaragua.
wearing camo sure. They're trying to bring socialism to Nicaragua.
Yeah, so he lived there. He didn't bring us down, and so he was just there by himself,
Okay.
living in quite dangerous conditions.
Right, and then came home
Yeah.
and got a different job. one
But
assumes.
then,
Yeah.
because he was gone, I needed a father figure and found my
your
horrible
swim coach. Oh my God! This is like it's almost like a
Yes.
serial. It's like we're getting a little bit of each story every. It's like what is it? There's a very popular podcast called Serial. Maybe we're just like that, except for we're finding out about your child, the childhood of Lori Kilmartin.
I do Letterman?
Why didn't you do Letterman in '79? Think about that. How great that would have been. That would have been sweet. I had the
Wasn't it
biggest
until
crush on
83, right? Or
Yeah, it was
82?
80. It was 82, I think.
Yeah.
And I had the biggest crush on David
I
Letterman
did
at like
too.
85.
Yeah, me too.
He was the first person I ever thought I would marry him.
Yeah.
And now you go,
Oh my god!
oh my God, what a terrible idea that would have been. And
My dad, okay, early in the days of AOL, so we're talking 95, 90, 94, 95, 96, right?
Yeah.
So there weren't many people online, and it didn't, no one knew what the internet was going to be. My dad swears he was in correspondence with David Letterman, and he saved he sent this guy who
Claimed
said
to
they were
be.
David
Yeah.
Letterman, and there's no reason you wouldn't back then, because he wasn't like super famous, and no one was on the internet.
No
so
one
it
was
wasn't
on the
like
internet. It very easily could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and my daughter's a comedian, you got to have her on the show. And then whoever David Letterman was, the person responded in a voice that has kind of Letterman-y
Okay. Timing.
for at the time,
Yeah.
And then I asked a writer there to ask,
Dave?
or this happened, was Dave on the internet at this time, and he said no.
Oh, okay.
So somebody was fooling my dad, unless Dave was on the internet and this writer didn't know.
Right. But there
I would
could have
love
been
to know
Could have been
that.
a double blind. And,
Yes,
you never know.
I would love to bring that email, because my dad printed it and I saved it and said,
Oh, really?
"Was this you?
Was this
Just
you?"
Let me know. Was my dad crazy?
I don't want to meet David Letterman anymore.
No.
No, I'm good. I want to meet I want to meet Dick Cavett. That's who I want to meet. I want to
Yeah.
meet Dick Cavett. Other people have. Other people very close to me have met Dick Cavett, and I have unresolved issues about that,
It
because
drives me nuts.
I just,
When people that are we kind of feel are equals.
could have been me. Could have been me. I don't know why I didn't get to meet Dave.
We gotta stop looking at other people's careers.
Exactly. Stop judging their outsides from my insides. And our comic of the week is
Yes, Jackie Fabulous.
Jackie Fabulous. Jackie Fabulous is genuinely fabulous.
Yeah,
And it's at Jackie Fabulous on Twitter.
she's yeah.
And she works nonstop.
Yeah, she's very funny.
Yeah.
I see her at Comedy Magic all the time.
I see her at Comedy and Magic
Yeah,
too.
she's
Sometimes the
working
Ice
all the
House.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's always working the road too. And
Yeah,
she's
she has little acting roles here and there. She's just
affecting
a cool
change
lady.
at a grassroots level. She's
Yes.
really bringing it.
And I
She's
think her middle name is Champagne.
Jackie Champagne Fabulous?
Yeah.
Wow. It just got super crackly on my headphones.
Yeah.
That's weird. Oh, well, it's a free podcast, you guys.
So check out Jackie Fabulous.
So check out Jackie Fabulous, find her, and watch her do stand-up comedy. And there'll be a link on the thing to her Twitter feed at the very
Cool.
least. And that is important.
how much time?
We are at 50.
We're at 50.
Okay.
So I was at a club,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a comic holding court.
Yeah.
And I don't mind holding court, but I like it
You
when
don't
it's-
mind when somebody else is holding court, you mean?
because
Okay.
I don't want to hold court so much. I want to hang out with a lot of comics.
Yeah.
I want there to be pockets of comics.
Sure, yes.
Just kind of riffing, and then you're talking over here to two comics, and then
Yeah.
you turn to your right, and you're talking to two other comics, and they're totally different stories, and they're just it's one of my favorite things. The social part of hanging out with comics during the day,
Yeah.
is one of my favorite parts of comedy. So
My favorite
person was
favorite
holding-
parts of the day are hanging out with the writers, like the monologue
yeah?
writers and stuff. Yeah.
when you get to actually just
Yeah, we just hang out, and then when we're putting the monologue together with
Yeah.
the host and all that stuff. That's
it's
always
just
the most
riffing,
fun.
and everybody's been
Yes.
working all day to make funny.
Yes.
yes,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
it just sounds awesome. Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
that's So but this person, like whenever anyone would talk to someone else,
Yeah.
they would stop talking, and kind of look and go, no, I'm telling a story, and I was like, dude, you're killing me. Anyway, so
Are those people good comics?
he's a great comic.
Oh, okay.
It was
Because I do think part of comedy is being able to listen. You have to listen to the audience. You have to pay attention to when they're not laughing. You're constantly tweaking and being aware. And some people just kind of like, I'm doing my set and this is the way I do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think good comics are constantly paying attention, figuring out which, you're
'Cause the
losing this
audiences are
table
different.
and you're, whatever. You just always want to keep everybody sort of
Right.
engaged.
So Toronto, I did 2 sets where I did 20s in front of Maria, 20, 25, whatever. And her audiences that first night was just classic, awesome Bamford crowd.
Yeah.
Second night, mostly Bamford crowd, weird dude that made me mad. And then I did my shows, which were in smaller venues. They were,
Yeah.
like hers was, I think it was 800.
And she sold.
Yeah. Yeah, it was full. And,
Lady Dynamite's in Canada.
yeah, it's on
That's
Netflix in Canada.
great.
Yeah, and then and plus, I think Just for Laughs has a good publicity kind
Oh,
of thing.
sure,
Go see
sure.
Marie Bamford.
Yeah.
and then but I got to do the Rivoli the Garrison and Comedy Bar, and those are all they're varying degrees. The Garrison seats like $1.50, $1.60 maybe, and there was probably 80, 90.
Oh, that's cool.
It wasn't bad. And then Rivoli seats probably 80, and
Yeah.
there was like 80.
That's great.
And then Comedy Bar sat 45, and there was 45. And so
those are fun sets, man.
those are fun sets. But those were people who knew that they were coming to see me, which is an exciting new world.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know. It was this one woman was like, I wanted to take a picture with you, but I didn't want to be that fan. And I was like, there's a dozen of those people. This is an attainable goal.
You are that fan, and that you're the only one
Exactly.
so far.
You're the only one. You're
You're the first. That first fan.
Step up and make my day as well as
that's
your own
cool.
if you're into it. But then I picked up a last minute set opening for Gary Gulman.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, and I had just seen his Conan, which was great.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
And but he was doing, and it was all his people.
Yeah.
And I was trying to figure out his audience because I had never opened for him before.
Right.
And they enjoy dark.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
loved
yeah.
the Irish goodbye joke.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I can't think of anything else dark. And that I was going to do in this set.
Yeah.
So, but it was, I kind of, that whole thing where people come to see they know what they're seeing.
Yeah.
It's a whole new world. It's such a weird thing.
That is cool.
Yeah.
I got to do, this is just a fun little LA night where
Yeah.
I had 2 sets on Tuesday, I think. Anyway, they were both.
You do so many sets. I'm so proud
They were
of you.
both at the
Anyway.
They were. First one was at the original UCB, and
Franklin?
second one was at UCB Sunset. Yeah,
Wow.
that was kind of cool.
That is cool.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
it was
that feels New
Kara
York.
Clank show.
Yeah,
and it was kind of low key.
Yeah.
You know, it was fun.
Because that's that Sunset one, right?
That's at Franklin, and then
Okay.
and then Emily Heller's show at Fresh Out LA.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was cool.
Those are both good. That Sunset room can be a little, because the ceiling's so tall.
So big.
Ceiling's high.
Yeah,
Drop the ceiling. UCB Sunset.
maybe that's an improv thing. They like a high ceiling.
Well, maybe. Let's find an improv person.
No,
No?
they're not hard to find, Jackie.
They are around. They are.
Throw a rock.
Right. You don't even have to. Just pick up a rock. And they'll want to play word ball with it. No offense. I admire your work. It's very hard. Have you ever taken improv? You've taken improv.
Yeah, I took a class a very long time ago.
I took UCB Sunset 101 class.
Oh, yeah?
And I was 100 years old, and everyone else was 11, and everyone else there was some, and I was. It was actually very hard, of course, because
Yeah.
it turns out improv is a learned skill.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
and there's an arc. So
Yeah.
as funny as I am as a stand-up, I am not. It's a different skill. It's a different
Totally.
muscle. Yeah.
And sharing the stage is loathsome to me. I can't stand it. You know?
Well, it's talk about listening. Like I like acting. The improv thing was weird because if people come up with something that's what I think is not funny, I don't want to go there.
Oh,
and you
right,
have
right.
to say yes.
Oh my God.
The term is yes and. I'm
Oh,
told
yeah.
that it's yes and.
The ability to bail instantly when you're a stand up, when you know something isn't going somewhere.
It's the
you
great-
can't overstate how awesome it is.
The power.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Well, what do you
Kyle,
got this
come
week?
on,
Well,
what
what do
are
you got?
we?
I got a set at the
Okay.
Ice House. I got a set at
Oh,
the
cool.
Ice House wait. Oh, that's next
This
week.
is coming out October 3rd.
Oh yeah, God knows where I am.
So I'll be at the Yoo-Hoo Room this weekend.
Yoo-hoo.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And
Yeah.
then I'm going to, everyone just go to
8th and 9th.
JackieCation.com and look and see, and you'll find out where I'm doing stand-up. I'm so tired. It's been great. We were cheerful again. This is 2 in a row.
What the one we just did last week?
Yeah.
It was the one we taped at midnight on a Tuesday. I wasn't in a good mood.
No, the one that's coming up next, that was 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
There's one for next week, and then this is from 2 weeks. This is a great story, you guys. Thank God you've paid attention.
And
Now leaving Nerdist.com.